In this weekly reading, we see that the reading starts with the eighth day. And the question is, what is the importance of this eighth day? We see that Aaron and his sons are required to be in the tabernacle for 7 days. They are not allowed to come out of the tent of meeting for 7 days until this period of 7 days will be over. And then the following day, which is the eighth day, if we continue to read it, we will see that they are becoming actually officially to serve in the priesthood. They will become the priests in the tabernacle. So we need to see what is this period of 7 days. So if you go literally, there are two words that if we go with the modern Hebrew, we will lose the meaning of the biblical Hebrew. The first word is lemale. Lemale literally means in modern Hebrew is to fill up. Okay? But the word yamim, we already saw it very early, that the word yamim is not only days, but also a season or a period. For example, just to right at the beginning of Genesis, when it is talking about Cain, at the end of Yamim, he gave sacrifice. So meaning at the end of the agricultural season, where there is fruit of the land, he could give a sacrifice. So Yamim, days, is also a period. So when the text is telling us that they are not allowed to come out of the tent of meeting until when this period will be over. Okay? So let's go now and we will see that the lemale yamim, meaning if you go by modern Hebrew, it would be to fulfill the days, but that's not to fulfill the days. It will be, lemale will mean to complete, and days mean to complete the period, to complete the season, period or season. So if you go, for example, to Rebecca, and she was pregnant, and at the end of the pregnancy, which means at the end of the days, at the end of the pregnancy, they found out that she has twins. Okay, so that would be to complete the period. If you go to Jacob later on, and Jacob comes to Laban, and he says, Mal'u Yamai. What is Mal'u Yamai? I committed myself to serve you for 7 years in exchange for your daughter. So therefore, the period of 7 days is over. So therefore, give me my wife. That's practically what he says to Laban. Okay? Meaning, you cannot say that the days are filled. You can say the period is complete. The period is over. And later on, well, just as a side point, when Laban says, okay, if you will complete another period of 7 years, and by the way, the word Shavua is a week, and the word Shvua, it is written on, I mean, because the vowels in Hebrew are not in the letters, so it is written the same, but it is pronounced differently. So the word Shvua is not Shavua. Shvua means 7 years. Shavua means a week. So you realize now that if the translation goes with modern Hebrew, the translation will lose the point. So actually, and later on, sure enough, it is said that Jacob served Laban for 14 years, 7 years for the first one, 7 years for the second one, so that is 14 years. If you go at the end of Genesis, you will see that there is, when Jacob passed away, and they were embalming the body. And what does it mean 40 days were fulfilled? They were not fulfilled. The period of preparation, the period of the procedure was over, complete, okay? And that's what it says, because it is taking 40 days for this procedure of embalming, and that's what it is. And it's exactly the same we see in Exodus, where the plague of the blood, it is says, and at the end of this period of 7 days, after the Almighty smited the river. Okay, so lemale means to complete, not to fill, not to fulfill, but to complete or to end. Okay, and it says also in later on in Exodus chapter 23, verse 26, et mispar yamecha amale. So if you translate it, the number of the days I will fulfill, that's not true. I will, because the beginning of the verse is talking, there will be no miscarriage, a wife will not be barren. So therefore, I will complete the period of the pregnancy, meaning there will not be any interruption of the period of 9 months. That's what the verse is saying, actually. If you go to the birth of a, a baby, either a son or a daughter, it says that the first 7 days she is going through a process of purification. So when these 7 days are over, complete, it is not fulfilled, but they are complete. Okay, so that's what the verb is. With the Nazarite, you will see that here is a person who is committing himself not to cut his hair, okay, until the end of the period. That's what is the end, melot, למלא, to complete, למלות הימים, to end of the period that he committed himself to be a Nazarite. So actually, we have now a conclusion. What is למלא? למלא means to complete or to end. And למלא ימים, it means to end a period. Okay, so that's what it is. So if we are returning to the beginning of the weekly reading, and it says that Aaron and his sons will be inside the tabernacle for 7 days, until the end of these 7 days. That's what it is, okay? And we still have to realize what is miluim and what is to literally למלא ידכם. Okay, so we will come to it. Okay, so there is another expression, okay, that is during the event of the spies that were sent, and they came back with a very bad report over the land. But there were two people, Joshua and Caleb, that they were against the others, and they were, so therefore the text is telling us that they will be the ones to enter the land because they, uh, now you realize that I didn't put it in color because it is true that they followed the Lord. But if you want to see what does it mean, למלא אחרי, okay, that would be, and it is at the end, at the bottom of the screen, you will see that they were completely behind me or completely behind the Lord. All right, so that would be the meaning of that phrase, that they did not and that's the reason that the translation in this case is accurate, that they will only followed the Lord. Okay? So, but if you go literally, it would be completely behind the Lord. All right? That's what it is. So now you go and you see the eighth day. It is starting very early in Genesis that the circumcision of the male baby would be on the eighth day. Eighth day. That's the point. And there is significance to the eighth day because in the entire Tanakh, you will see that 7 days is a cycle. 7 days meaning 6 days of creation. On the seventh day, the Almighty rested. So that's a cycle of 7. And then the following day will be the day of renewal, the day of a new cycle. That is the significance of the eighth day, meaning a beginning of a new cycle. So when you have a baby, the baby would be circumcised on the eighth day to indicate a new generation is coming into effect. So now let's go now and we will see that there would be no eighth day unless there will be 7 days before. And you will see that in Leviticus, when a male baby is born, so the mother is unclean for 7 days, and on the eighth day, that would be the circumcision. You can see throughout that there is always, even if you go to Exodus 22, number 28 and 29, you will see that even when you talk about the um, uh, uh, animals for sacrifice, 7 days the baby animal would be with its mother, and then only on the eighth day it would be qualified for sacrifice. So there must be 7 days, and on the eighth day everything is new. You can see that there are three times the process of purification. Means that, for example, the leper, it means that 7 days it would prepare for purification. And on the eighth day, when he brings the sacrifice at the tabernacle, at that time, he is officially clean and ready to go back to community. You can see when someone has secretion after 7 days, he prepares himself for 7 days, and on the eighth day, he is coming to the tabernacle. That is for a man, that is for a woman. And also, like I said, it is also for animals for sacrifice. 7 days, they are on their own. On the eighth day, it is a new cycle. At that time, they are ready to be sacrificed. Now, if you go to the a very important festival, that's the festival of Sukkot, or in English, the festival of tabernacles. You will see that there are 7 days, and on the eighth day, well, I should put this one in green also. On the eighth day, all right, on the eighth day, that's another that's another point, and and actually people wonder what is that day of at the end of Tabernacle, and there are many explanations for that eighth day. But you realize there is no seven without the following day. So therefore, you have 7 days of Tabernacle, and 8 day it's a new day. It is a new day, and you can see that actually it is throughout. The Nazarite is the same, okay? 7 days he will prepare, and on the eighth day he will be back out of his period. And now we will go to another point where literally, if you read it in modern Hebrew, the 7 days that the Aaron and his sons are staying in the tabernacle, it is also mentioned that these are 7 days to fill their end. What does it mean to fill their end? Well, it is not, you see, now the translation on the bottom of the screen will be wrong one, because this is not the actual consecration, because the consecration, meaning becoming priest, will be on the eighth day, but the 7 days is actually preparing to be priests. So if you go literally, it will be to fill up the ranks, but actually it is to authorize them, meaning to give them the power into their hands to be priests. Okay, so that's what it is, and you can see that throughout the phrase lemale, lemale, to fill up. I mean, modern Hebrew, to fill up the end will be to authorize. Okay, and actually, and you can see it in Leviticus chapter 16, verse 32, to fill up the end, I mean, literal, it's not really the consecration, because the consecration is when he will put the priesthood robe on his body. And we can see it actually later on when Aaron passed away, and his son, just by putting the robes on himself, he became the high priest, meaning the consecration will be by the clothing, and the process before that would be to authorize the person to be consecrated. So now you realize that that's למלא ידם, if you go literally, to fill up the hands, that will only be to authorize them, to delegate them to become the priests, and the consecration will be later. So if you go now back to the beginning of the reading, you will see that 7 days, it's a period of preparation, because in these 7 days, they are preparing to be authorized to become the priests. And on the following day, the eighth day, after these 7 days of preparation, they will really become the priests. So that is what the text is telling us. Okay? So you can see that this is true even when King Solomon, when he built the temple, and he had, that's very interesting now you will see, because he had 2 periods of 7 days, and meaning, and it says 7 days and 7 days, and the text is telling us 14 days, total 14 days, but on the eighth day, he sent the people away. But you realize that will not be the eighth day, because after 14 days, it will be the day 15. But it's not day 15, because they come to tell you that the eighth day is a concept. It is a concept of renewal. We consecrated the temple, and we had a feast, a festival, 7 days, meaning total 14 days. And on the eighth day, which is actually the 15th day, on the eighth day, he sent them away. And you can see even when the kingdom was split, and Yerovam, who after he split from the kingdom of Judea, and he created the kingdom of Israel. So there were two kingdoms actually. The north was Israel, the south was Judea. So he created a festival on the eighth day. That's a point to realize that the number 8 is an important one, and that was the month that he created the new festival to separate himself from the kingdom of Judea. We see in Ezekiel, when he giving us the preparation for the future temple, he says 7 days that they will prepare the altar, and they will purify the altar, and they will authorize the priest. And on the eighth day, the priest will start the process of work serving in the temple. So you see now that even in Chronicles, very late in the book, it is on the eighth day, there is what is called atzeret in Hebrew, and it is okay to call it assembly. And they have a special day on the eighth day. Okay, so now we can come to summarize it. We see that preparation for the priesthood is 7 days. On these 7 days, they will be authorized to become priests. And then on the eighth day, they will be consecrated, actually, officially becoming priests. So this point that the eighth day is purification, meaning the 7 days purification, the eighth day is the actually celebration after the purification is complete. That should bring us to wonder about Hanukkah, the festival of Hanukkah, which is 8 days. And one should wonder if Hanukkah is actually, I'm just wondering if Hanukkah is 7 days plus 1, and that makes it 8 days of a festival. Throughout the Tanakh, throughout the Bible, 7 days are preparation, 8 days is the actual official consecration. The person become a priest, the altar is being purified, complete, ready for serving. So that will be a cycle of 8 days. 7 preparation, 8 day is the actual celebration. Shabbat Shalom.